Chapter 17, Shades of Diamond Depicted Deeds. Steven turned back into his normal self and he and his friends left Horse Meadow. Craig looked at his map to find a place where he and his new friend could go to. You know, the more I follow you guys, the bigger the creek really feels, Steven smiled. Maybe it's because of the trees themselves, since I don't have a lot of trees back at Beach City. If there weren't any trees here, I would see what you mean, Craig replied. But without them, the creek wouldn't be a creek. It would be a wasteland, Kelsey added. Or a flooded nightmare, JP commented. For me personally, it would have made this place a park more than anything, Omar said. I agree, Steven looking at the trees. If I had this life, I would have found trees satisfying. Craig then remembered one place that Steven would enjoy, however it's one of the last places he wants to go to due to the person he trusted the least. The sad thing is, they're close to the location that's next to Horse Meadow. As Steven turned to his left, he noticed a huge tree close in the distance. Hey, what's that over there? Steven made his way. Darn it, Craig stopped. I hope you wouldn't see it. Steven went out of the trees to witness the big tree in person. The tree had lights coming in and out from the long, thin leaves, without an open view on the inside. He couldn't describe how beautiful it is, as if he wonders who spends their time here. Craig and the others walked up with Steven, witnessing the tree, but they're familiar with the people who will be inside. Craig, I can't believe this creek has a big tree, Steven said. It's impressive you have something like this during your free time. Well, this tree would have been anything to me if it wasn't owned by rich people and a leader who wears a tiara, Craig replied. Rich people? Has the tiara caught your mind on what we're dealing with? Kelsey added. We did have a moment in here, but only one moment with them causing people at the creek to fight each other over cardboard cake, JP added. Steven wanted to believe his friends, but he can't get over how beautiful the tree is. If the creek only has one tree like this, it would have more value than he expected. Then a witch guard came out from the entrance of the tree, but the moment Steven laid his eyes on her, he was shocked to witness her pink hair, similar to rose quartz and pink diamond. George, Jane, we better get ready for my daily walk while going to the candy bar for... She stopped herself when her eyes stared at Steven. She heard the news about him from others this morning. Unlike some kids, she believes what happened last night, including the gem underneath his shirt. Oh, what do we have here? She smiled. Eliza, should we get going? George coming out. Yeah, we are. Why are we? Jane stopped herself after also coming out, witnessing Steven himself. Is that him? Yes. It seems Steven Universe has arrived at our tree. She walks up to Steven, introducing herself. My name is Eliza. I'm George. I'm Jane. We're the Tea Timers, they all replied, greeting the crystal gem. Steven, on the other hand, couldn't get over Eliza's look, as if she's a younger daughter of Pink Diamond if she was a diamond, but the image itself made him more distressed. Hi, Tea Timers, he waved. So you own this tree? A true one of a kind, may you add, Eliza smiled. Especially a wealthy person with a fancy pink gem. She grabbed the end of his shirt, lifting it up slightly to see the gem in person, admiring the beauty of it despite Steven looking away, being uncomfortable without his permission. I don't like the look of this, Alma whispered to Craig. Is he gonna glow up like last night? I'm hoping he doesn't, but at the same time, this is Eliza we're talking about. Craig responded. Meanwhile, the drone returned flying above the sky, recording Steven's gem after zooming in on it. The gem of yours is gorgeous. Pink is my favorite color. Eliza looked up at Steven. You don't say, Steven replied while grinding his teeth. I was thinking, how about you come inside our tree for you to see the tree from the inside? Well, he scratched on the back of his head. I found the tree mesmerizing. It's worth checking inside. Good, she smiled as she turned to George. George, open the entrance for Steven to come in. Yes, Eliza, George responded as he moved the lawn thin leaves. Eliza takes Steven's hand as she takes him inside the tree. George and Jane went inside, closing the entrance, leaving Craig and his gang alone. She's too attached to his gem, Craig said. I have to get inside. Craig, they're not gonna invite you in, Kelsey replied. I don't think Steven's gonna take it well for how terrible Eliza is. This caused Craig's eyes to shoot wide open, remembering what Steven is capable of from last night. He rushed to the entrance only for George to stop him. You're not allowed inside, Craig. But this is an emergency. How is it an emergency? Because Steven's gem is supposed to stay in him. You don't understand, it's not stuck in there in a jewelry way. George wanted to believe him, but after hearing the news, he, unlike Eliza, doesn't believe it. Eliza told me upon meeting her, she'll be at her best tone towards Steven. We won't cause any trouble. And you expect me to believe that? He's serious. We really need to be inside for him, Omar added. George groaned in annoyance, but he saw Craig and his friends with Steven, unlike Eliza. Okay, but Eliza won't be happy about this. Her bias is what I'm afraid of, Craig replied as George invited him and his friends inside. The drone from the sky lowered close to the tree. It landed on the ground from the other side. There was a small opening from the inside as the lens captured everyone inside, camouflaging with the wings turned off. Steven looked everywhere at the inside of the tree. He became impressed with how opened it was, not to mention the lights glowing from above made it better. Welcome to the Tea Timers Club, Eliza smiled. We host a lot of tea parties here. Do you invite guests here? Steven asked. Sometimes we throw a dance for everyone to come. It was a splendid dance, Jane added. Well, that seems an appropriate way to celebrate here, Steven replied. Of course it is. What else is better than a dance? Eliza said. Steven wished he could be honest, but from the way she's talking to him, he's not buying it one bit. In tree garden, like with open sunlight to give plants sunlight? What? You don't like it this way? She retorted. I adore plants when my parents take me to a garden show filled with flowers. I'm just saying I don't dislike it. I like it. I just think it could have been better. Eliza didn't like his disapproval, not to mention she witnessed Craig and his friends inside who George allowed them inside. It seems your friends showed you the less popular of the clique. When Steven took notice of Craig and his friends, he couldn't believe Eliza said that to them. Hey, they took me to 2 places and I enjoyed them. Trust me, Steven, if you want to know more of the popular places in the creek, we'll give you a tour. Eliza leaned close to him. Trust me, we know a lot about the creek. Liar! Craig reacted in anger. You spent most of your time here rather than outside. We still go to the trading tree, stupid. Eliza retorted back. Steven, don't trust her. I wasn't going to, Steven replied. Craig, Eliza shouted. My interest has been through the heavens about this guy. She marched her way towards him. I'm not missing my opportunity. No offense, but do you think he wants to have a tea party with you? Of course he would. I wasn't gonna do anything devious like the other times I've done to other kids. This caused Steven to open his eyes after hearing Eliza. In fact, the only thing I really want him to do is to be a fashion model for people to see his gem. Almost everyone at the Creek is gonna see his gem. It's valuable, but it's not what you think it is. This caused Eliza to grab Steven's shirt, causing Steven to shake slightly. I know what value is when it comes to fancy jewelry, and if it's true he won't stay here, no one's coming in my way. I'll get what I want by any means necessary. George, kick them out, she ordered her servant. Steven shook in anger with both of his fists clenching. He remembered how Pink Diamond acted and the way Eliza is acting towards his friend. He wished he never experienced it in person. Soon his body glowed in pink again, catching everyone's attention except Craig and Eliza. Hello, I said to kick them out. She got cut off the moment Steven grabbed her arm, catching her and Craig's attention immediately. The moment she saw Steven in his mental state, she felt scared from Steven's anger with the sound from his gem. Steven couldn't control himself as his powers got the better of him. He lifted her up from the ground with his dress after she let go of Steven. I don't want to be your fashion model when all you remind me is rose quartz, he shouted, causing the lawn leaves to blow with the sun shining through in a second. Who's rose quartz? Eliza reacted in fear. Steven, put her down, Kelsey called. Steven didn't listen as he's prepared to lift his fist up, activating a pink bubble, but Craig, head behind him, grabbed his fists after jumping from the ground. Steven, you need to stop. He prevented him from punching Eliza, but then his eyes turned pink again with his surroundings pitch pink. However, he saw Steven in his monster form and Eliza as rose quartz. Craig, your eyes turned pink, JP took notice. Yeah, his eyes turned pink, George added. He's probably intertwined with Steven's gem, Kelsey added. Come on, let's help him, Armor called as Kelsey and JP went towards Craig, pulling his legs as Steven got stronger and stronger. Please, let me go. I won't have you as my fashion model, Eliza cried. Just when Steven used his strength, he turned to Craig, who caught him off guard. In Craig's vision, the monster in Steven's rage went away in a second. He didn't roar. Instead, he felt shocked and concerned to witness 4 kids on his body, similar to what his friends and family did to turn him back to normal. The only difference is, in Steven's vision, he witnessed Craig's pink eyes. He let go of everyone, but due to his gem powers, it caused Craig's friends to fall down while Craig landed up against the tree. The velocity was too much. He was that close to have the back of his head bruised, with only his bag breaking the impact. Steven's glow went away as he dropped Eliza to the ground. Eliza breathed heavily, thankful she didn't get punched from Steven's powers. Eliza! George came to her aid, and so did Jane. When Steven witnesses Craig up against the tree, he places both of his hands on his mouth. Craig! He rushed towards him, leaned down while witnessing Craig opening his eyes. He became shocked to see his pink eyes in close view. In Craig's vision, he saw Steven's monster form up close to him, sad that he almost hurt him the moment he let go of his ankle. And then when he closed his eyes, he saw Steven in his normal form, no longer a monster with pitch pinkness around. Steven, he spoke. I didn't hit her, but I saw your eyes turned pink, he responded. I don't know how it's possible. I've been having that since coming to the creek today. Oh no. He gave Craig a hug, lifting himself on the ground from his normal strength. How am I gonna fix this? Craig, a tear came down on his face, afraid of what effects it could have on Craig. Craig's friends walked up to Steven, who's hugging Craig tightly, giving him comfort as much as he can. Eliza slowly walked up to Steven from behind, with Quake taking notice. As much as she's lucky the Tea Timers Club didn't get destroyed, she would have ended up in the hospital for the first time in her life. I don't know what to say, George said, shaking in fear. Most of the lights are loose from the branches. Jane looked up at the lights. I don't want to know what would have happened if he glowed more. I don't know. I want to go to the candy bar. I really need a therapist. Eliza shaked, hyperventilating more than George. Steven, should you talk to Eliza, because it's really important to let her understand, even if I don't always believe in her. Craig replied as Steven turned around. Even after letting her go, he still can't get over her look and attitude, but he refuses to keep her in the dark just like he did with his friends and family. After letting go of Craig, he signed and walked up to Eliza, who's scared to come near him. Look, I didn't mean to hurt you, but... He couldn't say it to offend her, but she still doesn't understand roles. But what? She reacted. You remind me of my mom, he shouted to get the truth out. With your hair, your dress, everything pink, to me, your rose quartz who's one half of pink diamond. After he lowered his head, Eliza, along with the tea timers, still didn't catch on to what he meant. Craig, can you elaborate on what he means? She turned to Craig. Steven, just show him the photos, or we're gonna be here forever. Craig looked up, placing his hand on his head. Steven took out his phone and clicked the image of his mother. She showed it to Eliza, who looked at the image closely. She doesn't understand. She doesn't look like her face with her hair, but her hair made her realize the truth a bit. I would show you who Pink Diamond is, but I don't have a photo of her. Your mother really is something else if she isn't that sweet, George commented. Trust me, the only thing I can say to you is, as a crystal gem, it's not fancy from your imagination. Eliza processed from what Steven expressed, but the moment she also saw Craig's pink eyes in the glowing incident that occurred, it's better for her to not find out. On second thought, why don't you all just leave? She pointed at the exit. If your mother was that horrible to you, I don't want to be part of it. I only thought about your gem more than yourself. Considering your thirst for greed and attention, you would probably have a miserable time wanting a colony unlike Pink Diamond. I just wanted to do a fashion show, okay? I don't even think I'll ever find someone who has a gem in their belly button. If you really think my gem is profitable, imagine what everyone would feel when they see the power in it. Steven leaned close to Eliza to make sure she paid attention to him. They would be hungry for power, making the creek a battlefield. It is true, Craig added. Yeah, we've been through too much of what people did in the creek, George replied. I totally agree. We don't want another capture the flag battle or a pirate invasion, Eliza signed. I'm gonna head home right now to stay in my bedroom for sanctuary. I'm sorry for... Steven tried to finish, only for Craig to grab his hand. Let's just get out of here. As Steven lowered his head in disappointment, he and his friends headed out of the Tea Timers Club. Heading to the next place Craig's picking from his map. The Tea Timers would never be able to forget this day for the rest of their lives. If Steven did something to Craig's eyes, I'm afraid Craig might become a pink freak without a gem, Eliza commented. Be thankful we don't find out, otherwise pink won't be your favorite color anymore, Jane replied. Hey, you see a person with a purple gem glowing purple and see how you feel, Eliza retorted. We really need to never underestimate a person like Steven to prevent our club from getting destroyed, George signed. The important thing is, we at least know who he's capable of. Fair enough, Eliza signed as she and the Tea Timers left the club, heading home after postponing their plans for the day. Meanwhile, the drone captured everything as it flew out from the spot and back to the sky. It didn't follow Craig's group since the visit to Ramp City. It flew back to the neighborhood as it recorded all the evidence it needed, except the person behind the drone is far from done with Craig and his new friend.